So here is my resources. I'm using Terraform because it allows for infrastructure as a code, enabling consistent, repeatable, and version control deployments across my various cloud providers. It simplifies the management of infrastructure by allowing you to define and provision data center infrastructure using a high-level configuration language, making it easier to collaborate and automate processes. So here we go. First, we need a VPC. Okay, I hope you can see it. This part of code creates a VPC with a CIDR block of 10.0.0.0/26, which allows for 64 IP addresses within the VPC. It is tagged as sample for identification. So for our demonstration, I do not need a large VPC. This one is Internet Gateway. An Internet gateway is created and attached to the VPC. This allows resources within the VPC to access the Internet. It is tagged as main IGW. Without these resources, we cannot connect to Internet. So because we are building a Streamlit application, it is these applications need to be connected to the Internet. So this one is AWS subnet public. This is a public subnet. A public subnet is created with the VPC with the CIDR block of 0.10.10.0.0.0/27, allowing for 32 IP addresses. This one is smaller than the VPC CIDR range. Instances launched in this subnet will automatically receive a public IP addresses. The subnet is placed in the AP Southeast 3A. I am in Jakarta region, availability zone, and tag as public subnet. The tagging is important because it allows us to tag the host in the build page. This one is AWS route table. A route table is created for the VPC with a route that directs all outbound traffic. This one to the internet gateway. So for the local traffic, it will redirect the local traffic to internal. Other traffic which has the destination to the internet, this header block, is routed to the internet gateway. And then finally, this one is route table association. This resource associates the public subnet with the public route table, ensuring that the instance in the public subnet can use the route to the internet gateway for internet access. So after you create this resource, please do not forget to also create this resource. Okay, in this segment, we are creating S3 bucket using Terraform. First, we define our S3 bucket resource with AWS underscore S3 underscore bucket. And this is the object name, my underscore bucket, which specifying the bucket name using a variable. And next, we use the local underscore file dot bucket name resource to capture the name of the S3 bucket and save it to a local file named bucket underscore name dot txt within the current module directory. This approach ensures that the bucket name is persistently stored for reference and future use. And now we are setting up AWS Code Build project using Terraform. We start by defining an IAM role. This one, AWS IAM role.codebuild role with the necessary trust relationship that allowing codebuild to assume the role. This is specified using the assume underscore role policy block. I mean this block. Next, we attach policies to this role. AWS IAM underscore role underscore policy and codebuild policy, which granting permission to interact with S3 bucket, CloudWatch logs, and Amazon ECR. This includes actions such as S3 get object and S3 get object version. Also note that we are need ECR get authorization token because without this, our code build project cannot communicate with the ECR. Finally, we configure the code build itself with AWS code build project. This project named Streamlit will source its build input from an S3 bucket containing the source code. I mean the source underscore code dot zip. Please note that this address must be valid, must be available beforehand. The environment is set up with the AWS code build standard 4.0, and no artifacts are defined as output for this build. We also include an output block to display the name of the cold build project upon successful creation. This setup automates the process of building and deploying source code from S3 using AWS Code Build, enhancing your CI/CD pipeline. Okay, and now we are creating ECR. First, we define an ECR repository with AWS underscore ECR underscore repository, and the object name is my underscore repository. We set the image tag mutability to mutable, allowing the flexibility for image tags. Tagging this resource ensure easy identification and management. Next, we apply a lifecycle policy to the repository using AWS CCR lifecycle policy, and this is my object name, my repository lifecycle policy. This policy is crucial because it helps manage the repository storage by retaining only the latest image. This is not only optimize storage costs, but also ensures that your repository remains clean and relevant, containing only the most up-to-date artifact. We then um, create output block to capture and display the ECR repository's name upon successful creation. This is useful for integration with other Terraform configuration or for informational purposes. Finally, we use null underscore resource, and this is my object name, write underscore ECR underscore name, with a local exec provisioner to write the ECR repository to a local file named ECR underscore name.txt. This step ensures that the repository name is readily available for further automation scripts or for manual reference. By automating the creation and management of an ECR repository with a lifecycle policy, you streamline your CI/CD pipeline, reduce manual errors, and ensure your development environment remains efficient and cost-effective. This explanation not only describes the Terraform script, but also emphasizes the benefit of the importance using such automated approach in a professional DevOps environment. Okay, now we are at ECS.tf. First, we create an IAM role named ECS Tasks Execution Role for Streamlit deployment using AWS IAM role ECS Tasks Execution. This role is crucial as it allows ECS tasks to assume necessary permissions, ensuring that our application can interact with other AWS services securely. Next, we attach the Amazon ECS task execution role policy to our IAM role to grant it the permissions required for ECS task execution. We also create a specific IAM policy ECR specific repo which grants access to our ECR repository. Attaching this policy ensures that our ECS tasks can pull Docker images from the ECR repository. In addition, we define an ECS tasks definition, AWS ECS tasks definition that specifying the container configurations, including the image to use from the ECR repository. This step is essential as it encapsulates all the necessary configurations for running our applications in an ECS cluster. We also create an ECS cluster which will host our tasks by setting up the cluster and the tasks definition beforehand. we ensure that our deployment is streamlined and organized. To allow HTTP traffic to our application, we configure a security group, this one, with ingress and egress rules. Note that allowing traffic from all resources from the internet, I mean, is not a best practice for production environment, but it is suitable for our demonstration purposes. Finally, we have commented out the ECS service resource block, this one. This is because the service requires a Docker image to be pushed to the ECR repository first. Running this block without the image may introduce unnecessary errors. Ensuring the image is available before starting the service is a best practice that avoids deployment issues. By following this approach, we automate the deployment process, reduce manual errors, and ensure our infrastructure is consistent and reproducible. The setup is particularly beneficial for streamlining CI/CD pipelines and maintaining robust and scalable cloud environment. Okay, now let's build our Terraform. I use auto approve. Okay, it succeed. And then now let's upload source underscore code dot zip using this sh. Now you press Q. Okay, let's see at AWS Management Console. Okay, so now I'm at code build page. So you click Streamlit, and then you can see that this project is being built. If you click this build run, then you will have a build log, first details, the pre-build was succeeded, reports environment variables, build details, and resource utilization. In build details, this page gives you some useful information. So like repository, source version, and the service role. I think this is one of the most important thing because without the correct service role, your code build cannot build a project successfully. So I set the timeout for five minutes, like I gave you before at the Terraform. Let's scroll down, and the build spec is build spec.yaml. So, Alhamdulillah, the status is succeeded. If we see the build logs, tail logs, we know that the image is pushed to Amazon ECR. So let's look into the ECR. We type ECR in here, and let's go to this page. Nah, this one, my ECR repo. You click this one, and then there you go. You have your Docker image in here. For manual push, you can click view post command in here, and you can follow these 4 steps to push, to build and push the Docker image from your own laptop. So let's navigate to ECS. Nah, you have my ECS cluster, and also you have your task definition to deploy your Streamlit. Please note that this task definition is not yet deployed on the cluster because we did not attach it in the Terraform template before. So let's attach it. Now I'm get back to PyCharm. If you see in this ecs.tf, you see a block in here. So you can uncomment this block, and then you can run the previous command, this one, Terraform init and Terraform apply auto approve, hit enter, and there you go. wait a few seconds, and then your ECS task definitions is deployed to ECS cluster. So let's get back to AWS Management Console. Let's navigate to clusters, click this one, and click service. You see that there is a task registration that is running, and the status is pending. If you click tasks, and then you click this one, this task ID, okay, you can see that after waiting a few seconds, so you can see that Alhamdulillah, our setup and script is work. Hello world, this is a simple Streamlit app that displays hello world. Okay, so that's it for this tutorial. So now I'm going to show you how to dismantle our created resources using Terraform. So you can gain the idea that using Terraform is a good idea. So let's first come back to PyCharm. The first one, we need to delete all of the objects in our created S3 bucket. And then we need to also delete all of the ECR created images. Alhamdulillah. And now finally, Terraform destroy. Auto approve. Okay, hit enter. And now let's wait for a few moments until the Terraform deleted all of the created resources. So this is the idea why I like using the IAC infrastructure as a code, especially Terraform, because it grants me the power to easily create and terminate all of the resources. So Alhamdulillah, it is destroyed. That's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.